So typically we wake up around, I don't know, 6 or 7, kind of depends on how well you've slept the night before. Make some coffee, eat some breakfast together in the kitchen tent. And then usually for the GreenDrill project, the drilling was underway by about 8:30. And so as scientists, we'd kind of finish cleaning up things around the kitchen tent, make sure that camp was in good order, and then head over to the drilling tent and help the drillers with kind of whatever little tasks we could help with.
Well, there's no showers to start with. So yeah, we've done the whole 2 months with no showers thing before. And, honestly, once you get to like 10 days, it doesn't really matter if it's 10 days or 2 months without a shower. Other days we might be spent actually out on a lake. So we core a lot of lakes, looking at sediments in these lakes that are sort of near the ice margin. So that's just a very different type of day. We're on like a floating platform for most of the day, trying to core sediments. So some days involve, going on long hikes that we've planned out to collect like rock samples along the way. That's pretty common, and that can be, sometimes it's actually pretty low key, or sometimes, depending on the route, it's actually quite vigorous and pretty taxing.
We were also collecting some of the ice chips or kind of shavings that would come up the borehole to do some water isotopes, so try to get kind of a rough climate record eventually from this drilling process. And so we were able to like kind of be there and collect that ice that was coming up. And so we'd do that till about noon. We'd all break for lunch for about half an hour and then get back to the same work in the afternoon. And then have dinner around 6 p.m. and just kind of hang out in the kitchen tent together, like reflect on our day, eat food, and then go to bed pretty early, usually in bed by like 8:30 or 9. So lots of rest needed up there. That was like kind of a typical day.
I think it varies a lot from, a lot of taxing work to honestly a lot of sitting around and trying to figure out the dozens of problems that have cropped up over the past day or two.
Oh, you also have a lot of days where there's too much snow or too much wind to work. And so usually what that looks like is spending a lot more time in that kitchen tent, hanging out together, reading a book, kind of just figuring out how to entertain yourself. And then when the storm's over, spending a lot of time with shovels, digging out the camp, and making sure that it's like safe to continue living there. Yeah, usually we will read books, maybe do a little bit of scientific work, like read papers or do some writing. Not always, depends on the person. And often we'll like play games together. I usually bring dice to play Yahtzee. So yeah, there's many different games. People bring cards, try to entertain each other, and then just kind of hang out and talk. And oftentimes you don't know everybody on the team going in, so it's a good time to hang out and get to know each other as well.
The temperatures were way below zero all the time, so camping in we had ground blizzards and stuff, so it was pretty extreme conditions. Camping there itself was a challenge, but it worked really well. So my prime role was to support the drillers in their daily work. So it was literally a pretty extreme camp on Prudhoe Dome that we set up in April and went through May and June. And honestly, my prime role was to really try to keep the drillers drilling and happy and try to keep everybody safe. Really making the food plan. Melting ice all the time to have water was a big topic, of course. Yeah, but that's not that exciting unless you consider that you are on top of the ice sheet. So